Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Simon Rafe. Spain's frontrunner for Prime Minister promises to repeal abortion law. That is according to LifeSite News. The country's new abortion law permits abortion on demand during the first 14 weeks of pregnancy. Now, the previous law allowed abortion only in cases of rape, fetal deformity, or danger to a woman's health. Following revelations of systematic medical fraud used to justify abortions under the previous legislation, the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party responded by lifting restrictions during the first trimester and 2 weeks following. Frontrunner Mariano Rajoy and his People's Party, who are hoping to gain power in 2012, argue in favour of enforcing the old legislation rather than relaxing restrictions. New study illustrates changing ethnic patterns in the United States Catholic Church. The author of American Grace, How Religion Divides and Unites Us has said that 60% of Catholic massgoers under 30 in the United States are Latinos. David Campbell said, "It is an interesting story because having diverse ethnic groups within the Catholic Church, that's nothing new. The Catholics have welcomed immigrants from around the world for generations. What's new is that it used to be the Poles, the Lithuanians, the Italians and the Irish." Campbell spoke to Catholic San Francisco about the phenomenon and said the number of Latinos entering the United States Catholic life was sudden and dramatic, and said it highlighted the shifting of the United States religious landscape. He continued, "Of those Catholics under 30 who were at Mass last weekend, 60% of them were Latino, and that group is only going to grow." Ukrainian seminaries full. And according to one bishop there, they are having to turn away up to half of the young men seeking to become priests due to a lack of space, with 3 candidates vying for every place in the seminary. The bishop stated that many young men are attracted to the priesthood because of the examples they see of living a challenging vocation, especially when the gospel is actually being lived by good priests. Stay with us, we'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
CatholicUnderground.com, the podcast about our Catholic faith and new media.
Singapore Archbishop issues message to Catholic schools. The Archbishop is stressing that any sex ed program given to students must be faithful to Catholic Church teaching on sexuality. "I pray that all our Catholic schools remember that we have a duty and a right to nurture our Catholic identity for the benefit of our students," he wrote. LifeSite News reports that a sex ed program based on Catholic values and beliefs, which was taught in Singapore for over 23 years, has recently been replaced with a program that promotes the use of condoms to protect against STDs, HIV, and unwanted pregnancies. The Ministry of Education has mandated this for both secular and religious schools. And lastly, Pope prays for peace in Egypt. Pope Benedict XVI is affirming his attentiveness to the current conflicts in Egypt and is offering prayers for peace in that land. Protests attempting to oust President Mubarak, who has reigned in Egypt for almost 30 years, have been going on for 2 weeks. Tens of thousands of people marched into Cairo seeking his resignation. The protests became violent as Mubarak's supporters clashed with the marchers. Prayer services were held for the souls of those who died in the clashes with the authorities, and the Associated Press has reported that Christians held a Sunday Mass in which thousands of Muslims participated. I'm Simon Rafe, thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com, and be sure to check out The Vortex today, where you can view Michael Voris's interview on the Canadian news programme The Michael Corrin Show. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure and tell all of your friends about us. And as always, God bless.